I'm 23 right now, and a big theme I've seen across the conversations that I've been having with my friends who are also in their 20s is around the idea of our existence, our place in the world, our identities, and overall just how to navigate life. So I wanted to start a series of videos where I share books, TED Talks, YouTube videos, documentaries, essentially ideas and frameworks that have been helping me and my friends navigate the world a little bit better just as we're figuring it out. One of the first books that has had a major impact on how I view the world is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Most of you have probably already heard of this book at least, and if you haven't already read it, trust me, just get it on Audible and listen through it if you have to. That's personally what I did. This is an incredibly dense book, and it really does help to just listen through it. But first, I'll go over a brief summary on what the book is about, why I love it, why I would recommend it to anyone, and my biggest takeaway with how I personally apply it to my life. Just for some context, I listened to the audiobook around 2020 to 2021-ish. It was originally recommended to me around, I think, 2018 by a friend. Like most people, I was putting it off for a while, but when COVID hit, I thought, you know what, let's check it out, and I'm really glad I did. Like it says in the subtitle, it is a brief history of humankind. Yuval takes us through all the key events of our species, going all the way back to our early evolutionary stages, the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, how humans eventually unified since we were all over the place, religion, the scientific revolution, including science, the concept of money, imagined orders, impact of capitalism, imperialism, modern technology, and much more. The book then wraps up by raising questions about the future of our species and AI. Here's a slightly more detailed summary of the book if you want to pause the video and read it, but I'll also add a link to it in the description below. So there are a lot of reasons I love this book, and I actually plan to reread it sometime soon, but I'll try to keep it brief. First of all, this genuinely sparked a massive curiosity in me to better understand the world as a whole. I was never really into history in high school. You know, I took world history. We looked at the different world wars, why that happened, and it felt like it was a lot of memorizing dates. And sure, it was interesting, but I never really thought of history in the grand scheme of our existence. I was 20 when I read this, and I realized there were a lot of things that I never really truly questioned in life. I guess early on, you kind of just go about your day. Whatever you're told by your parents, by your teachers, you just accept it and move on. You don't really try to get to the origins of why we do certain things the way we do. So, for example, we live in a capitalistic society, and I never really thought of how that came to be, or how we invented the concept of money, how humans unified, and so much more. So essentially what this book did for me was raise a ton of questions across a range of different topics that I never really thought of questioning. When I read this book again, I'll keep a log of questions and things I find interesting that I'll add to the description below. Related to raising questions about everything, my biggest takeaway from this book has been honestly about root cause analysis. And I used to think that I did this pretty well, but reading this made me realize that you can go way deeper than you initially think. And this could be for both personal beliefs about yourself or beliefs you have about the world. And the whole idea around this is that you need to ask yourself why and how over and over again until you get as close to the root of it as you possibly can. Eventually, you should get to a point where as you're asking these questions, you start to wonder and you start to realize, oh, I actually don't know why that happens, or why I think this, or how that works. For me, when I read this, I started applying it to my own core beliefs at the time. This included my identity, labels I put on myself, morals, love, friendship, what success means to me, and so much more. Anyways, I know this is a dense book, but I highly recommend it to anyone. Of course, take everything with a grain of salt, but I promise it will be worth it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to keep up with this series, and I'll catch you in the next one.